The rain was coming down in sheets as I stared out the window of my Seattle office, the Space Needle a blurry silhouette in the distance. I am Alaric, and until recently I thought I had it all. At 46, I was a successful IT project manager, happily married to Isolde for 18 years. Or so I thought. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Isolde, a vibrant and outgoing marketing executive, began working late more often. "Big campaign," she'd say, kissing me quickly on the cheek before rushing out the door. I didn't think much of it at first. We were both driven in our careers and I respected her ambition. But then came the phone calls. Whispered conversations in the hallway, always ending abruptly when I walked in. She started taking her phone into the bathroom, something she'd never done before. I tried to brush it off, attributing it to stress, but a nagging unease began to creep into my mind. One evening, I decided to surprise Isolde at her office. I brought her favorite coffee and a pastry, hoping to catch her for a quick chat. The receptionist informed me that Isolde had left hours ago. She said she had a dinner meeting, she explained, a slight hesitation in her voice. My heart sank. I thanked her and walked out, the coffee growing cold in my hand. I called Isolde, but she didn't answer. Probably still in the meeting, I told myself, but the knot in my stomach tightened. I drove home, the rain mirroring the turmoil inside me. Isolde arrived around 10 p.m. looking flushed and slightly disheveled. "Long night," she said, avoiding my gaze. "The campaign is really heating up." "I went to your office," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "They said you left hours ago." Her eyes widened, a flicker of panic crossing her face. "I had to meet a client at a restaurant," she stammered. "It was a last-minute thing." "Which restaurant?" I asked, my voice hardening. She hesitated, then named a place I knew was miles away from her office. It was near the client's office," she said, her voice trembling slightly. I didn't say anything. I just looked at her, the disappointment and hurt welling up inside me. I knew she was lying. The next few weeks were a blur of suspicion and anxiety. I started noticing other things: the expensive new jewelry she was wearing, the subtle changes in her perfume, the way she flinched when I touched her. I tried to talk to her to address the growing distance between us, but she always deflected, accusing me of being insecure and controlling. "You're imagining things, Alaric," she'd say. "You need to trust me." But I couldn't trust her anymore. The lies had eroded the foundation of our marriage, leaving me feeling lost and alone. I started sleeping on the couch, unable to bear the thought of sharing a bed with her. One Saturday morning, Isolde told me she was going to a conference out of state. "It's a big opportunity for me," she said, her voice lacking its usual enthusiasm. "I'll be back on Monday." I watched her drive away, a sense of dread washing over me. I knew deep down that something was terribly wrong. That afternoon, I decided to do something I never thought I'd do. I went through Isolde's phone. I knew it was a violation of her privacy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to know the truth. Her phone was password protected, but I managed to guess it after a few tries. My heart pounded in my chest as I scrolled through her messages, my hands trembling. And then I saw it. A series of texts from a number I didn't recognize, filled with intimate and suggestive messages. The messages confirmed my worst fears: Isolde was having an affair. The world seemed to spin around me. I felt a wave of nausea, followed by an overwhelming sense of betrayal. The woman I had loved and trusted for so many years had been lying to me, deceiving me and breaking my heart. I sank to the floor, the phone slipping from my grasp. Tears streamed down my face as I reread the messages, each one a dagger twisting in my chest. I felt like I couldn't breathe. After what felt like an eternity, I managed to pull myself together. I wiped away the tears and stood up, my mind racing. I needed to know more. I needed to know who she was having an affair with and how long it had been going on. I started digging deeper into Isolde's phone, searching for any clue that could lead me to the truth. I found emails, photos, and calendar entries that painted a clear picture of her double life. The affair had been going on for months, with a man named Bertram. He was a colleague of hers, someone I had met briefly at a company party a few years ago. I remembered thinking he was arrogant and smarmy, but I never imagined he would betray me like this. The emails revealed that Isolde and Bertram had been planning romantic getaways, exchanging intimate photos, and professing their love for each other. They had even discussed leaving their respective partners to be together. As I pieced together the puzzle, I felt a rage building inside me. I couldn't believe that Isolde would do this to me, that she would throw away our marriage for some fleeting affair. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, alternating between grief and anger. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't think straight. I felt like my entire world had been turned upside down. On Monday morning, I decided to confront Isolde. I waited for her to come home from her conference, my heart pounding in my chest. When she walked through the door, she looked surprised to see me. "Alaric, what are you doing here? I thought you'd be at work." "I know about Bertram," I said, my voice cold and hard. Her face paled. What are you talking about?" she stammered. I pulled out her phone and showed her the messages. "Don't even try to deny it, Isolde," I said. "I know everything." She burst into tears. "Alaric, I am so sorry," she sobbed. "It just happened. I didn't mean for it to go this far. You didn't mean for it to go this far," I repeated, my voice rising. "You've been lying to me for months, sneaking around behind my back, and you didn't mean for it to go this far. I know I've hurt you," she said, her voice trembling. "But I still love you, Alaric. I want to make things right." "How can you say that?" I asked, my voice filled with disbelief. "How can you say you love me after what you've done?" "I don't know," she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I am so confused. I don't know what I want." I looked at her, my heart aching with pain and disappointment. I realized that I didn't recognize her anymore. The woman I had loved and cherished was gone, replaced by someone I didn't even know. "I want you to leave," I said, my voice firm. "I want you out of my house and out of my life." She looked at me, her eyes filled with shock and despair. "Alaric, please don't do this," she begged. "We can work through this. We can go to counseling." "It's too late, Isolde," I said. "You've broken my trust and I can never forgive you." She started to cry again, but I turned away, unable to bear the sight of her tears. "Just go," I said. "Please just go." She hesitated for a moment, then grabbed her suitcase and walked out the door, leaving me standing alone in the ruins of our marriage. The next few months were the hardest of my life. I filed for divorce, moved into a small apartment, and tried to piece my life back together. I felt like I had lost everything: my wife, my home, my sense of security. I struggled with feelings of anger, sadness, and self-doubt. I couldn't understand why Isolde had done this to me, what I had done wrong to deserve this betrayal. I sought therapy, talked to friends and family, and tried to focus on my work. Slowly but surely, I started to heal. I realized that Isolde's actions were not a reflection of me, but a reflection of her own insecurities and flaws. I started to rebuild my life, one step at a time. I took up new hobbies, reconnected with old friends, and started to explore new possibilities. I realized that I was still capable of happiness, even after such a devastating loss. One day, I received a call from a private investigator I had hired to look into Bertram's background. He had uncovered some disturbing information about Bertram's past. He had a history of infidelity, financial fraud, and even domestic abuse. I was shocked and disgusted. I couldn't believe that Isolde had fallen for such a despicable person. I felt a sense of relief that I had gotten out of the marriage when I did. The private investigator also informed me that Bertram had been fired from his job after his affair with Isolde was exposed. His wife had filed for divorce and was seeking custody of their children. Isolde, on the other hand, had lost her job and was struggling to find new employment. Her reputation had been tarnished by the affair, and no one wanted to hire her. I felt a sense of satisfaction knowing that Isolde and Bertram were facing the consequences of their actions. They had hurt me deeply, and now they were paying the price. But as time went on, my anger subsided, and I started to feel a sense of pity for them. They had made terrible choices, and they were now living with the consequences. I realized that I didn't want to hold on to the bitterness and resentment any longer. I wanted to move on with my life and find happiness again. I eventually started dating again and met a wonderful woman named Bronte. She was kind, compassionate, and understanding. She had also been through a difficult divorce and knew what it was like to experience heartbreak. Bronte helped me to heal and to trust again. She showed me that love was still possible even after betrayal. We fell in love and eventually got married. I finally found the happiness I had been searching for. Years later, I ran into Isolde at a grocery store. She looked older and more worn than I remembered. She was alone, pushing a shopping cart filled with cheap groceries. We made eye contact, and I could see the regret in her eyes. She mumbled a quick hello and hurried away, avoiding any further conversation. I watched her go, feeling a mix of emotions: sadness, pity, and a sense of closure. I realized that I had finally moved on from the pain and bitterness of the past. I had forgiven Isolde, not for her sake, but for my own. I walked back to my car, where Bronte was waiting for me. I smiled at her, feeling grateful for the love and happiness she had brought into my life. I knew that I had made the right decision to leave Isolde and to start a new chapter. I had survived the betrayal and emerged stronger and wiser. My life was good, and I was finally at peace. I never thought I'd be able to say that after the hell I went through, but here I am. I hope my story serves as a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable heartbreak, it's possible to heal, rebuild, and find love again. Never let the actions of others define your worth or steal your happiness. You deserve to be loved and cherished, and you are capable of overcoming any obstacle that life throws your way.